Hello, my name is Ben Rushton, and today I'll be presenting on the rapidly changing Arctic. For my honors program lecture that I went to, it was done by Martin O. Jeffries, who's a graduate of the University of Calgary, and that's where he got his doctorate. I attended this lecture in the Kennedy Conference Hall at Dartmouth just about like a month and a half ago. The White House Arctic Science Ministerial. So this is something that he talked about in the lecture, and basically what this is it's a compilation of different governments and the EU who collaborate and bring together a bunch of different pieces of evidence to potentially help the climate change and to help climate change and how it's affecting the Arctic. So, climate change, like the two priorities that it goes into are the rapidly changing Arctic and how to help, as well as climate change, which is driven by greenhouse gases. All right. The Interagency Arctic Research Policy Committee. Basically, this is something that Martin worked on with a bunch of different scientists in his field. It's actually really cool. It's really easy to use. It's a website that people can publish their own research on, which is really important because there's a lot of untapped information that people have that they're not giving to other people to help the cause. So this makes that easy. And there was a very large period of success and growth in this between 2012 and 2017. And it is still working successfully today. The Cold Regions Research and Engineering Laboratory, or CREL. It was created in 1961. It's actually, the headquarters for it is in Hanover, New Hampshire. Didn't know that before. It's responsible for many of the discoveries regarding cold regions and how to accommodate for living in these regions. So I thought that was pretty cool. Why does this matter? So it's not a surprise that climate change is greatly affecting the planet and especially the Arctic because as this occurs, there's more and more sorry, one moment. Oh yeah, I forgot something. Okay, so in the Cold Regions Research and Engineering Laboratory, it's pretty much the same thing as IARPC, or what I talked about before, the interagency. Yeah. So they basically use all this research to come up with other possible solutions for this, which there's still no direct cure for what's happening, but we're making good strides. Okay, why does this matter? So, why does this matter? All right. A lot of species are being affected, I know that. As surface ice in the Arctic is being melted and eroded away because as surface ice in the Arctic melts, higher winds are able to blow around the Arctic, which causes higher waves, which would in turn lead to more erosion because waves crashing against coastal ice and permafrost, it leads to the destruction of different places such as Kivalina and Shishabaka. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a village in Alaska that is being destroyed pretty much gradually by erosion and melting icebergs causing small tidal waves. So that's sort of like the direct cause, and then bigger bigger waves and rougher ocean patterns are also a big cause of that. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
What were your thoughts on the lecture?
Oh, thank you for asking. My thoughts on the lecture. I thought it was very interesting to hear about mainly how it affects different species, because as a kid and even now, I have been really interested in the Arctic and polar bears, and I've wanted the best for them, even though I haven't really had an influence. And it's just sad to hear that things like this are happening, and the people too. So I learned a little bit about that, and that was